Shane Kohler is a conscious love and dating coach. A woman shouldn't chase a man. It attacks her worthiness and everything she is in truth, bringing out the worst in her, and disconnects her from her clarity and intuition, depriving her of her great power to create in a relationship. Now, I'm not saying that Shane Kohler as a man knows anything about what it is to be a woman, but I liked some of these comments. A man's primary responsibility in a woman's life is to create safety. If he can't offer this, then he has nothing to offer in the early stages. He does this by authentic. If he can't offer this, then he has nothing to offer. In early stages, he does this by authentically pursuing her. Leaving her without clarity, guessing his intentions is not safe for her, and the wounded masculine avoids this responsibility because in his heart he's insecure and feels he has nothing to reveal of real value to offer. But she needs to see it. He's so insecure that he can't create safety for someone else because he needs to be chased, because for him the relationship is to validate his wounded pride. But a quote-unquote high-value woman, which it should never be said because every woman is high value, does not let herself be a tool to validate a bruised ego, no matter how much she may like him. A woman's value doesn't come from being wanted by a man. That's creating scarcity around being chosen. And so when she's wounded, she might abandon herself in the hope of him choosing her. And in chasing, she gives privileges to mind and heart and even the body that he has not earned, hoping she can prove her value and he'll want more. But he cannot appreciate her if he sees through a lens of needing to be boosted, and she's rewarding the lack of effort, enabling this lukewarm commitment. And both know it. She's being devalued in both of their eyes, and he has no respect for, and soon will require more than her to meet his insatiable needs for validation. A healthy masculine partner wants to feel some resistance in the relationship. She may say no sometimes. He wants to experience her boundaries and see that she's a sovereign being who does not exist simply for his pleasure. Showing him that she can be trusted and knows her worth, she won't chase, motivating him to pursue her fully. Weaker men have mocked her strength, maybe. This could really hurt because they feel threatened by it, calling her difficult. In my life, there was a man last week. I opened my heart to him and he called me demanding. He called me a burden, needy, unattractive. I think I'm going to get pregnant with such a man. I think I'm going to give myself to such a man. So a man tries to make a woman question herself so that they could feel powerful in reducing her to their level. Like, don't need more because this is all what I have and want to give. And so this is the challenge a woman faces, honoring her truth in a world that wants to take it from her. I won't say the world, I'll say someone who has an agenda. The greatest thing a woman will embody in the reality is that the greatest thing she could embody is that she actually doesn't need a man. She may desire a partnership and certainly deserves a man to meet her on the deepest levels, but never at the expense of her dignity or self-respect. It can require great faith and patience to be content with herself as she awaits a king who will offer her that safety and protection. And a man's healing is about humbling himself to recognize a woman's presence will elevate him beyond what he can achieve alone, and to learn to honor and cherish and protect that gift. And she learns to recognize and embrace herself as the gift. When she sees it, she'll attract a man who sees it too. I saw something on Instagram. It was, it's on Instagram. This is Bianca Carocha. Liking someone, or do you like their potential? You like someone or you're bored? Do you like them or you like their attention? Do you like them or are you repeating a toxic pattern again? Or is he just funny? Or am I lonely? Or am I settling? Or do I need a hobby? Do I like them or is this peer pressure? Do I like him or am I romanticizing him? Do I like him or I like relationships? Do I like him or is this just a lack of information? Do I like him or my projection of him? Do I like him or is he just cute? Do I like him or am I ovulating? And Malova.flex on Instagram also says there's 8 types of pleasure besides for food. So 1 is tactile. This is massage, hot baths, body care. Before I say this, I want to say the reason I'm bringing this up is because there was this man who I just mentioned, a couple comments he made. He used to tell me his love language is touch. And he would always try to convince me I should be sexual with him because his love language is touch. And I said, I want to do that with my husband. And why would you need a girlfriend when you have someone who is trying to see if you would be good for marriage? Like, a girlfriend means you're borrowing someone else's wife. Like, so he would laugh at that. But, the truth is that he didn't want to touch me in all the different ways as a love language. He didn't want to touch me to transmit love. He wanted to touch me so he could use me. He tried to convince me that I'm depriving him of love if I don't let him touch me before we get married, even though I did unfortunately make the mistake to let him for a while. So here I want to talk about, like, let's say with food, like, because and there's a 12-step meeting for there was a 12-step OA meeting. There's 12-step meetings for everything. Could be for food, for sex and love, for codependency, for being an adult child, and for everything else. People who feel they're in debt or gambling or alcohol, drugs, all different kinds of meetings for different kinds of drugs and so on. But anyway, the point that I'm making here is that there's often like someone might think that pleasure is love, but it's not. So in terms of getting pleasure, there's 8 types besides food. So one we said is tactile pleasure: massage, hot baths, body care. Physical pleasure: this could be dancing, stretching, walking, training. Intellectual pleasure: dreaming, planning, learning things that excite you. Aesthetic pleasure: dressing up, a photo shoot, decorating, playing with makeup. Creative pleasure: drawing, filming, writing, creating. Emotional pleasure: deep talks, hugs, gratitude, goosebumps moments. Sensory pleasure: smells, textures, favorite cream, ocean breeze, a cozy blanket, soft touches. Travel and a sense of change of scenery pleasure. Maybe a trip to the ocean, or visiting a new country, or a quick getaway, or just shifting your surroundings. And then sometimes people use pleasure to feel safe. So here we talked about pleasure instead of love, and now we're talking about pleasure instead of safety. But if we understand the nervous system, and I want to share something from Emma McAdam, that and obviously my point here is that women bring love, pleasure, safety. Like that's it's about women and children for safety, women and children for pleasure, women and children for love. So women, not women, nervous systems. A healthy nervous system, there's safety. Then there's something that stimulates us. We might interpret it as danger. We have a response, which is fight, like, get away, it's a bug, right? Or freeze, I don't want to be detected, I don't want to die. And then, flight, and you run away. Like, these are, but basically you're facing the situation in order to stay safe. The parasympathetic response. And then, you can laugh about it, shake it off, connect with someone, breathe, tell the story, however you need to return to safety, back to yourself, right? The problem is when the anxiety cycle happens, that instead of that point where you have the option to face it, like instead of facing it, you go to avoid it. So you get that temporary relief as avoiding it, but the brain then reinforces the anxiety and you get stuck back in the stimulation. And then you go through this pattern and then you never quite get that safety that you would have gotten if you would have just faced it. And I'm thinking about this because there's a man I had an interesting connection with who worked in a store, and I think, misread the signals, or maybe he liked me for a while and then he stopped, and I took it the wrong way, and I just kept trying to make him like me again, and it didn't work out, and I ran away from it. And the other day, I thought he moved away, never coming back, it's over. The other day I walked in the store, and guess who's there? He's there, he's working. I ran back out. And when I came back later, he wasn't there. But, just facing it might be better for me to feel safer than, I want to go more into, like, facing this ending with this man, but because it's not the first one. I want to share more about processing a previous time, and we'll see if there, just as a workshop. But I also want to share from the 12-step meetings, for example, as much as things that I get out of it, like as much as I feel, the more I practice I have for being real, because then the fantasies become real because I'm able to actually live with them in reality. It's like adjusting my vessel, my nervous system for what feels safe. It's safe to receive. Like I'm the missing piece for others, just being myself. And also there's this idea that if there's sorrow now in the cup, that means after the sorrow passes, there can be love. That means love is coming because the endings become beginnings. And when, reflecting, being changed in recovery and seeing we all need love and reassurance because we're all living beings with consciousness and we all represent the divine feminine, the Shekhinah, the divine dwelling. and her needs. And, you know, sometimes when we're stuck in that not safe mode, we might come out defensively. There's high stakes when we need support, and assuming everyone sees I'm worth giving to, but everyone expresses differently. And, you know, taking too much responsibility, explaining someone else to themselves, reflecting for them. And sometimes we just have to say sorry for lashing out in disappointment due to my expectations. And sometimes it's about stopping to need from someone who doesn't offer or want to by free will, and recognizing the bigger picture is good, even though, you know, I might feel deprived at the moment. And I think about going to my father as a child and how it resulted in rejection, and then I would have a tantrum and he'd have to fix it, and then I'd have to fix it, and then feeling like I had to mother him because, you know, I never really got my need. And when he did seem to meet my need, I still had to take care of him. It was a very high price. So these acting out patterns, and consciously with awareness when we're not in denial, is actually not yet making the new choices, but it's starting with myself. So I haven't changed it yet, but I'm not going to someone as if they're the only one in that moment. I'm accepting myself and my portion, and that the effect that I'm also enough for the world. Like this, in this moment, this is also enough. Like even if it's like I want and I'm not getting, and so I'm upset, like whatever the reality is. And the best amends I can make, let's say so I went to a couple of meetings, that's what I'm sharing here from my own meetings, but recognizing how scapegoated I was, that like everything was blamed on me. So, and the self-compassion that helps me to see that I wasn't hearing or seeing clearly, because I kept filtering through that defensive lens that no one loves me, I'm defective, inadequate, or that I'll never give God a reason to bless me, whether it's friends, health, or money. And misinterpreting for that meant that my ego tried to make me more right at my own expense, to the point of gossip. But numbness and not having fun and dissociating was not like my baseline anymore at the time of me writing this a few months ago. And I realized I really want to live a happy life and be of service, and that people respond to that acceptance feeling, that safety feeling, when I let them come and go as they please without the attachment and control, like from not trusting myself to handle my life alone. And not so actually putting in the time to handle life alone is how we could actually not need people as much. And also we don't get stuck in their acting out patterns. So not going to people who make me feel I don't deserve kindness or I'm impossible to understand, just because that was like what was familiar to me. Like, so basically choosing kind, understanding people to go to. And the best amends I can make for the damage that was done is number one, not to look to others for what I can do for myself. And this will help me to be more responsible, mature, and skilled. And two, not to be avoidant of what continues to wait for me till I have to face it. Because it's not the same thing as giving time and space. Like facing it, like I said, you actually have to face it. And the self-amends and the self-care is not expecting others to do for me what I can do for myself, by not like even spending other people's money, in the sense that rather than my own, and not looking to karma as punished by my past self, but as an invitation to clarify what do I want in my world. So like when it's saying like, if I don't expect someone to do it for me, it's like, why don't I want to do it for myself? Is it even what I want? Do I have the energy? Could I do it and it would still matter to me if I did it? Versus this victim, this denial that prevents me from my own fulfillment, portion, and confidence and healing. And I can develop and heal the version of me that had a gap between registering, you know, the relationship of cause and effect, or choice and consequence. Like, if I don't give it to myself, I'm not going to have it. Why do I need to not give it to myself? Go to someone to give it to me, and then I'll be happy. It's just because I was afraid of my own power, my own fulfillment. As a child, I didn't have that, and I would be alone. If I did, I wouldn't not just be alone. Alone meant death. No one would take care of me. But now I could take care of me. I'm still bridging that gap so that I could see the results of my consumption in a better way. Like what goes in must come